Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today, for your Sunday series, it will be a match, a best of 5 between Serral and Stats. Starting on Cyberforest, the latter edition. Oh man, a best of 5 between Serral and Stats as ZVP, my favorite matchup. This is going to be awesome. Bottom right hand corner is the blue Finnish Zerg player. He is blue, and he is Zerg, and he is Serral. In the top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player from Korea. It is Stats, and he is still red. Feeling a little redundant today. I'm not sure what this is. Anyway, oh man, a best of 5 between Serral and Stats? Like, conceivably the best Zerg and the best Protoss player on planet Earth today. So excited for this. This is going to be the best. Hatch first tonight over here is Serral. Probe trying to block the natural base, but Serral's like, I'm not even going to bother with that. Those shenanigans are not something I'm interested in this game. I'm going to go ahead and throw the hatch down first over on this right side. Stats, on the other hand, is going to wall off in the low ground here, which you can do on this map on Cyberforest. This is a pretty narrow ramp to handle. Allows you to very easily wall off and take your natural base without too much fuss. And then just extract your pool from Serral. So nothing crazy here from him. Looked like about a 16, 18, 17, which is the standard build these days for really Zerg against Terran and Protoss both. It's very safe, really. The Lings get out there to deal with the Reaper. You got Queens coming out here too. Oh, hold your horses. Where are my things at? That's ridiculous. All right, so damage health bars are back on. I know, for whatever reason, the big names, right? The Tastosises and those tournaments cast by people such as Zombie Grub and Fear Dragon and stuff, they don't have the health bars on all the time. Well, damage health bars on all the time. You have to select them to see what they are, but I tried that. You guys gave feedback, and we're going to go with damaged health bars all the time on, so you are welcome. All right, so double queen, single queen? Single queen? What is happening here? And 4 Lings on the way, which is totally fine, too. These drones are having to head over here to saturate this natural base way the crap. On the other side of the universe, Overlord is scouting what's going on. His first an Adept coming up here. No big deal. No big deal at all. Lings are going to chase the probe away. I suppose that's what that's all about. And then a drone transfer to this natural base again. And then at some point, Serral really should be taking a third in about 10 or 20 seconds here. The timing is pretty tight if he's going to go for a third. And yes, the drone is sneaking on down. Third base now. Resources not enough to do so, which is understandable. And yeah, the Adept in the middle of the map is going to chase these Lings down because the Lings do not have speed, and as a result, they are bad units. And the Adept already has 2 kills, so by golly, well done. Well played, Ms. Adept. There's your third base coming down. Lings, more Lings than I'd expect coming up this left side. Oh no, is the Stalker gonna... The Stalker, don't leave your post. Don't leave your post. I know you're tempted to do so. Adept's going to sneak into the main base where there's a queen waiting and a handful of Zerglings. And are you going to finish this? No, does not finish the transfer. The Lings got inside the house. No! How? I was distracted. What? No, you weren't even... No, that's too far. Sorry, guys. Nah. That's not even... Oh, okay. Well, that's not even holding the post. That's just like, I'm going to stand here and Lings can run past me, no problem. Oh boy, and then Serral sneaks a ton of slow Lings across the map. They don't even have speed yet at this point in the game. The Stalker's trying to fight as well as he can. He's got 4 kills, which is nice, but now he's dead. And now the speed is done, and now the Lings are a million times better than they otherwise would be. The Adept is trying to come home. Another Adept is trying to come out, but I think that pylon's going to die first, and it does go down. No second Adept for Stats here at all. Adept gets pinned against the wall. Good positioning, but too many Lings. Adept is down, and that's your good game. Wow! First game goes to Serral here in 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Just about there. I mean, what is that? 9 Lings down for 13 probes. Got Lings inside the house. Doesn't have any other powered gateways. Can't make any more Adepts to hold this. And all he can do is basically build maybe... He wants to make an Immortal, he can do that, but Immortals are really bad against Speedlings unless you have a Warp Prism for him, and if you wait for the Warp Prism first, you're going to die because your natural base is done, and Serral's on 3 bases. That was kind of nice. I kind of honestly like that. It looks like a very standard opening from Serral, but then he sneaks Lings along down the southern path, not like all the way down. I don't think all the way down. Did he just kind of go up here and then down here and then up here. So it didn't take forever to get there. He didn't go like all the way down to these bases like I would probably do. So, and then just sneaks up and basically sees the stalker's not holding the wall, and that's it. That's why learning how to wall off is so darn important, you guys. If you're Protoss and Terran, because if Lings get inside your base at the early stages of the game, you're just going to die. Generally, that will be a death situation for you. So, boy, that's one of the fastest games I've seen in a best of 5 at this level in a long time. 3 minutes and 30 seconds, basically, that was. All right, cool. So, next game coming at you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Game 2 here on Acropolis. Top left, Serral. Bottom right, stats. Boy, howdy. Game 1 was super fast. Game 2, not entirely sure how long this is. I don't look at the links before I cast them. So I'll be surprised when games like game number 1 happen. Alright, this probe is very, very early. Very early. Did not even throw down a pylon before he scouted. Alright, probe, what are you up to, buddy? What you up to, friend? You're going to try to sneak on up and just blocking. Wow, that is a really fast hatch block. That might have been what happened in game 1 too, and I just didn't see it. But yeah, Serral's like, whatever. I'm going to throw down my hatch down here. It's cool. I can kill you regardless. So probe comes across the map. Doesn't really achieve anything. I mean, does it? Serral has to transfer his drones down to this base instead of this one. So it is some lost mining time overall. But I mean, in the long run of things, I just don't know that it matters all that much. Yeah, I mean, Serral's going to do the same build. Now, the fact is, he can be pretty aggressive off of that same build. I've said this before. I've said that Serral is not an aggressive player. And that players he plays against are sometimes just like, they take that for granted. And they're just like, you know, it's cool. Serral's going to go for the long game. I don't have to worry about early stuff. And then he sneaks out the early stuff in that last game. And I'm sure Stats is like, what is happening? Who is this guy? This guy goes for the long macro game every time. No, apparently not. Serral will keep you on your toes just a little bit, just to make you wonder if that's what's coming next time. Stats has got to be like, I got to wall off. I got to wall off better this time. Is that a wall? I mean, Stats knows better than I do, but the last game he didn't have a wall, so I don't know, man. Maybe he just can't wall on that particular map with the Stalker. And he was just taking his shots with it, and something that Serral knew and took advantage. Stats risked it and didn't pay off for him. Is that another probe? No, that's just probe took some shield damage, and that's okay. It's all healed up now. It's all healed up now. All right, so Serral's going for speed. He's going for 2 queens, yada, yada, yada. He's going to go for some drones. And then take a third base. I don't know, another 30 seconds or so based on what we've seen in the past. And yeah, that's an adept, double gas, and the natural coming up from Stats. So nothing too crazy from either player. What we need to watch is that production tab and see if we get a lot more Lings out. This time, I have to imagine Stats is going to be better or more ready for it, I think. Although, I don't know if he's doing anything different to be more ready for it. He's moving the adept out. He's got the Stalker follow-up here. Yes, yes. I really need to know if this is actually solid, if Lings can sneak through this gap or not. That would be massive. That'd be massive if they could, but I don't think Serral's going to try that again. He's got more Lings on the way, but you want about 6 to handle the adept. 6 might be overkill, but it's definitely killing that thing if she stops on creep. Queen up. Wants to get some free shots off. No, adept sneaks on past. Queen at the top of the ramp's going to have to get some stuff done here. There's the shade into the main base, checking for lair timing, checking for a roach warren. And the adept is not finished because Stats is too smart to lose the adept at this stage of the game for nothing. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't really accomplish much. Meanwhile, same thing we saw in the last game. It is a Twilight Council. Ling does get inside the house to scout this. The Twilight Council and the Robotics Facility and a Dark Shrine. So going to be some Archon Warp Prism harass, which this is not in the latest patch. So Warp Prism has not been adjusted in any way. The pickup range is not any different than it's been for a while here. A new patch is out, but again, this is played on the previous patch because of, well, that's when I get the replays. But yeah, some new stuff for sure is coming up here. Anyway, nothing too crazy. I mean, I think Serral's seen this about 18,000 times with the Archon harass, and it should be fine. Lair timing at about 3.5 minutes, getting a Roach Warren up. Just because Lings are really bad at handling this, unless you can catch the units that are warping in and pick them off. But if they're DTs, actually, that's impossible for Lings to do. So, you know what? That wasn't actually solid. So the Stalker's holding it, but then throwing up a gateway to seal off the right side. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Kind of like it. All right, good stuff here. Ling's really trying to make sure that he knows when Stats is moving out with this. Look at this. Overlord. Zerglings are Zergling Overlord. Holy crap, this Warp Prism is not getting out by any stretch of the imagination without being spotted first. Now the Lings are like, hey, what's up? And the Adepts are like, hey, what's up? We're going to kill you guys. If you're interested in coming along this way, that's why we have the Adepts in first to deal with any Lings that are just shenanigans here. Yeah. Oh, this is the moment, right? When the Archons are coming up, if Lings can surround these and kill them, that's it. You can't cancel the Archon merge. So, yep, Lings pulling back, Roaches in production, and Serral should have just enough to handle this. Are you gonna... Ooh, that was close. That was close to a finish, man. Oh, Pooping Creep over here at potential third base is really nice stuff. But yeah, Warp Prism taking shots from Queens. That's what you got to do here if you're Serral. Just make sure the Queen is constantly taking shots at the Warp Prism, because the more injured the Warp Prism is, the more likely it's going to be that the, well, Warp Prism can die or that the Protoss player will go home. Those are the choices there. And it's just so hard to keep track of. Warp Prisms are zippy. They can pick up from really far range. Again, they nerfed that a little bit. And yeah, the Archons are willing to fight against the Roaches to some extent. They do that bonus splash damage versus biological, which is so nice. So nice. Ooh, Dropper Lord over here. So a bit of a... That's 3 Zerglings? Really? Okay, there's more on the way. It's like 3 Lings can't do anything, I don't think. Creep Tumors getting snapped down. Couple of Roaches dying. This is some really effective stuff here. 3 kills and 4 kills on those Archons is really no joke. Immortals are out. Sentries are out. Adepts are here too. Third base by Serral is looking good. Saturated. Gas is on the way. He's just making barely enough to survive at this point of the game. Lings dropping inside the main, and that's just too much. That Sentry DPS alone is enough to kill this many Zerglings. If there were more Lings, sure, that'd be a problem, but yeah, the Lings are going to be annoying. At least forcing a warping of stuff in the main base, that counts for something. It slows down stats a tiny bit. At the very least, that Ling gets out, sees there's a Forge researching that +1 attack, it's on the way, and just the Ling can't really do much other than die, and die it does. Third base warping in now for stats. Warp Prism still being annoying. Still not dead yet. Where the heck are the Roaches? Ah, poor Queen. Poor Queen, she dead. The drones evacuate. Maybe a little bit prematurely, but recognizing the Roaches are too far away. Glio Reconstitution's on the way, and 7 Mutalisks coming in. Interesting. Interesting he's going Mutas. I don't know that we've seen this work, honestly. Hallucinated Phoenix do scout the Spire. His stat's going to pull back after that. He's like, do I have enough to deal with Mutalisks here? The Immortals are useless in that situation. So are the Zealots. There's 1 Stalker and 4 Sentries. I think he's just going to play better safe than sorry. We're going to pull back. Work on a Templar Archives here. Make additional Stargates. There we go. That is the stats. 4th base now coming up for Serral down the left side. As soon as you see Mutalisks, you want to start pumping Phoenix. Get those started here, and the Mutas are going to try to get something done. Also get cannons in your mineral lines. Did I mention that part? Be sure to do that. Right? Cannon with shield battery is pretty good. It's hard for Mutas to take that down without huge numbers. 5 probes getting sniped off there is a pretty good harassment out of Serral. Not game winning by any stretch of the imagination, but I think we're done with Mutas. I mean, once you basically show Mutalisk to Protoss, as good as stats is, you're going to go ahead and respond to it perfectly. And then, no matter how many Mutalisks you have, it's going to be hard to get much done after that point. So, yeah, transitioning into Roach Ravager, which is pretty smart stuff, as if stats does decide to overmake Phoenix, the Roach Ravagers will just have a field day with it. So 2 Phoenix in production, we'll see. I think stats is smart enough to recognize this Muta count is not increasing all that much. Tissue regeneration, keeping these guys alive, by the way. I don't think he's lost a single one, but guess what? There's Phoenix now. And, oh, they got the Warp Prism. Nicely done. That is actually some really good stuff. He's positioning the Mutalisks, the healthier Mutalisks, behind, so the more wounded ones can be in front. That's amazing play. And then they force the Phoenix to pull back. So yeah, no more Phoenix on the way. Just a couple to handle the number of Mutas that are here, and then getting Storm, getting additional gateways. Ling's trying to see if they can get this third base, but that is so well fortified. There's just... As an Adept goes down, 5th base on the way from Serral, working on a hive, getting that +1 melee attack. For the Lings, Ling harassment is really good in ZVP if you can get it done. I mean, there's going to be Storm here. Storm is done. That's so many High Templar. So, I mean, stats is just doing this perfectly. And Protoss players at all levels really should mimic this style of play. Lings come in. Immediate warping of Zealots to handle that. I mean, oh, they're charge lots too. It's just 9 minutes in. You can have charge lots. Archons, Immortals, Storm. all of this high tech, and then Zerg's sitting here on, oh, I got Ravagers and Roaches and Lings, I guess. Tier 1 and like some Tier 2 stuff. Enjoy. That's why Zerg has the greater production facilities, is because they need so much more of it to hang with what is here right now, you know? Greater Spire on the way, so that +1 melee, it's for Lings, and it's additionally going to be for the Broodlings. Picking off a few of those Zealots is not bad. I mean, minor victories here thus far. Serral has lost more stuff than Stats has, but picking off army is always going to be just a fine thing if you're a Zerg player without losing too much. Serral not transferring his workers from the main base at all. The 5th base honestly should be saturated, or starting to get saturated at this point, and it's just not. It's sitting at 0 of 16. There are no drones even on the way at this stage. So the mutas continue to be annoying, trying to be wherever the heck the Phoenix aren't. And so far, so good, actually. How many Phoenix or mutas have died? One? Only one Mutalisk has died. A lesser Zerg player would have absolutely lost those mutas to the Phoenix or something at this point, but Serral's control is bananas. So what else do we expect? How are there still no workers at the 5th, man? I guess Serral's at 79 drones, so like, why? Also, why are you making Broodlords up here? Is he expecting to have to defend with Broodlords? That's weird. That's really strange. Actual Phoenix back here at the 4th base, getting picked off by Queens to some extent. Dude, Stats, you can't lose Phoenix to this. What are you doing, man? I don't even know what you're doing otherwise. Like, what are you... That was strange. That was really weird stuff. So a couple Phoenix die for nothing. I guess maybe he's worried about these mutas flying around and trying to ruin his day. Can you guys actually take these Stalkers? By golly, you can. Holy crap. Not with cannon support. Stalkers down. Dang, son. These mutas are the most effective mutas I've ever seen, maybe in my entire life right now. They haven't died. Every time they get low on HP, they just fly back here, have tissue regeneration happen. Look at Stats coming back. Stats is like, I don't want to leave. Oh, here comes the Phoenix. But again, taking some shots from the mutas is really bad. It can't chase forever. And yeah, look at this. We got Broodlords. Serral's maxed out. Stats is maxed out at 11 minutes. And oh, Serral, what did I just say? Okay, he just lost some mutas for nothing there by flying into Archons. So that one Mutalisk death count is up to 5, which is not good. But, alright. So Serral's maxed out at this point, just working on some Infestors to round off its composition, working on Neural Parasite. Again, good in most situations against Protoss. Knurling Infestors is good, or Knurling rather, Immortals is good. Knurling Archons, it does not work. Knurling Sky Toss is really great. That's some free Zerg donations there that Serral just gave up. By going off creep, honestly, the creep needs to spread. This is a really big map, though. Acropolis is not a small map at all. These changelings, I keep thinking that they're zealots that have warped in, but nope, they are just changelings that look like zealots, and now they're going to die as they expire at some point. Tempest in production, Mothership in production here. Broodlords firing, Infestors in the mix, Spore Crawlers up. And now this is the situation, right? This is a situation that Protoss players say that is unwinnable. And if anybody can win it, it's Stats. Again, the best Protoss player on planet Earth. Stats is doing a good job expanding again up this right side. Ling counterattack says, we have Archon Zealot here. How about you go home? Ling counterattack. Not going to work out for you all that well. Neural Parasite is done, but it's not like there's carriers. It's just Tempest. Tempest to deal with the Broodlords, and then Storm and Archons to deal with the rest of the ground army. It's pretty good, honestly, here out of Stats. Spore Crawlers burrowing up. And burrowing up. Ling's trying to see if maybe that 5th base is more open to getting murdered, but it's not. I can tell you that much. Prime Weapons level 3 finishing up at 13 minutes. For Stats, the timing here is just through the roof. Fantastic. Banelings in production. Another base coming up for Serral. That's going to be his 6th. That's his 6th base. Coming up, not really for income, but not really for larva production either at this point. Oh, the storms are just endless, aren't they? They're just endless. Stats really like tossing those suckers down. So Mothership present, Tempests here, +3 Archons in the mix, working on Warp Prism speed. Roach Ravager recognizing that their usefulness is a little bit at the end of its scope here. A couple Archons go down, a couple Cannons go down, all the Roaches and Ravagers die, and I think they knew they were going to. Everybody but 2 ends up getting killed, and that frees up supply for Hydras, which are better in this situation anyway. Hydras trade much better against Immortals and Archons, really. Hydralisk good unit. For a long time, it was useless in StarCraft 2. And it made me sad because it was such a staple of Brood War in all matchups. Well, maybe not ZVZ, but against Terran and against Protoss. Hydras could be pretty good. Another good again in StarCraft 2 makes me happy. For a while there, they were overpowered. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you about that. Not gonna sugarcoat it. There was a time that every ZVP was like a, well, I'll say 12-minute timing, but that was before they started increasing the worker count. So it wasn't, you know, you're like 12 minutes is maxed out, Falcon. Well, back then it wasn't, but it was a 12-minute Hydralisk timing with range and speed, and Protoss just had no answer for it. I mean, they were getting wrecked, and immediately the very next patch after that, they completely changed it. What are these? Where's your Warp Prism? Did it die to this Spore? Wow, I guess donating a couple free Immortals is bad. Oh, the Warp Prism's down here, getting chased away by the remainder of the Mutalisks, which again, Serral's not going to make any more. It is not a good use of his resources. But Warp Prism's going to die. Muta's chasing it down. Another Warp Prism here, and actually, those have Immortals in it. Or that has an Immortal in it, though. So that Warp Prism is down. Immortals dropping. Oh, gosh, that Queen died. Or that Queen. That Warp Prism died to Queens. The Banelings don't want to engage there because Banelings exploding on Immortals and Archons is bad, and Serral is not a bad Zerg player. Gonna go ahead and snipe down this base for sure. DTs are gonna try to save it, but not enough, man. That's not even a cancel. That's just straight up dead. Meanwhile, Stats with his first really aggressive push of the game. Finally coming in, but there are a ton of Spines present. This ground army does not like to see that at all. Storm is bad against Spines because it doesn't affect buildings. So yeah, a Spine Wall pretty good. Immortals can crush through that eventually, but there aren't enough of them. Archon's pretty decent against the Spines just because they're biological, but again, the range of the Spines and how hard they hit. Yeah, Archons don't really want any part of that. Overseer comes in and says, any tech switches I should know about? Yeah, carriers are in production. So watch out for that. Watch out for the carriers that are going to come in your way. +3 flyer attack is almost done for Serral. Working on, is that +3 flyer armor, or ground armor rather, and is that +2 air armor on the way from Stats. Once again, just small harassments here. A couple probes die. A bunch of Zerg stuff dies, but Serral, he just doesn't care. He's got a bank. He's making Corruptors. He's just bringing his Spore Crawlers with him across the map at all places. And he's trying to spread the creep to the point where he can harass and kill a base without having to leave the creep all that much. Yeah, it's the Spores, man. Disruptors, though. Interesting choice. I did not see the Disruptors coming out on that production tab. Disruptors do work against buildings, but Broodlings, it turns out, are pretty good too. Neural Parasites! Infestor! Ooh. Infested Terrans getting tossed down, and the Tempests are trying to take down everything else here and doing a pretty good job of it, too. Nice feedbacks coming in on those Infestors. So Tempest count, I think, is down to 0 right now, which is super bad for Stats, but he does have carriers. He's quadruple pumping Tempest at this stage of the game. Mutalisks are patrolling back and forth up at the top here, and yeah, just more and more Infestors, more and more Corruptors, as we're moving into an extremely late game now at 17 minutes. Most games do not get this long, but Acropolis is a huge map, and as a result, it is easier to do so. So, Creep is spreading. Another base coming up for Serral down south. Assimilation successful on an Oracle, and a free kill on that thing too. The carrier group is not enough to actually engage with this right now. There's too many Spores, too many Infestors, too many Corruptors. The ground army is going to have to hang with it. Tempests are in the mix. Exactly what you want. Changelings coming in to see what's up. Never mind. They get electrocuted to death by that Psionic Storm. Got another small hit squad. Serral does like sending these out, trying to find if there are any bases to kill. He will always take down the Zealot holding his Selnaga Watchtower. It is free real estate and free damage. Oh, those High Templar are pretty juicy targets, but they did just kill the Changeling, which means they know there's a Zerg army nearby. They're pulling back to the safety of the cannons. So, yeah, it's going to be a dance at this stage of the game. It's going to be can the Tempests kill the Broodlords? Can the Infestors get Neural Parasites off of the carriers and the Tempests? Where are we with this? Banelings crushing through all the static defense. Oh boy, all the static defense is dead. Yeah, the Storms are problematic, but there are enough Hydras remaining. Oh, that Zealot was taking shots before he went down. And yeah, Probe's getting massacred here. The army's trying to get back up, but it's a fairly slow army. And these Probes, I think, are all just going to die. The Hydras recognize they can't get out of here. I guess maybe they'll take an Archon with them there too. And so 8 probes get killed, not a huge deal. Charge Blocks take another base in retaliation, just destroying it. Down on this left side. Look at this Spine Crawler wall, though. That is so good against Charge Lots. Oh my gosh, look at this. 1 Spine Crawler down, 2 Spine Crawlers down, 3 Spine Crawlers down. But the Zealots are totally held up on this, and then reinforcing Lings show up and everything's fine. Kind of like it. I do. Charge Lots, though, with upgrades. Really good against static defense, but it's better that than nothing. I think is Serral's thinking along those lines. Ling's trying to see if there's a base down south replaced. Nope. There's definitely not. And this creep continues to spread up towards this base. And the longer this goes on, the worse it is for stats. Man, look at him just slow creeping up here. Broodling sniping off a High Templar. That's free. That's free damage there, too. Trying to take down some cannons. I mean, any damage they can get done is really nice stuff. Lings and Hydras taking out another shot down the left side. Sentries actually trying to get rid of some static defense and the Spore Crawlers up north, which eventually they'll do. They're pretty bad at dealing damage in general, but the Disruptor shots, pretty good stuff. Another Fungal on that group. Catching some of those infested Terrans with that Nova, too. That's interesting that nothing's being set up to deal with that. I mean, at this point, this is basically stats freeing up supply. That's exactly what he was going for. So we can make things like more High Templar and more Zealot. Sentries are not going to be all that useful in the future here. Guardian Shield's not going to help that much. Hallucination's not going to be all that good. That's what Revelation is for. Once again, if you have enough Tempest, good splits on that. Ooh, a couple Infestors catching the edge of that Nova and do end up going down. And a ground army of stats heading up to the north side, patrolling down this way too. The Hydras fighting with the safety of Spines is pretty good. Hydras, if they have something tanking for them, like Roaches, like Spine Crawlers, like Ultralisks, that allows them to deal their damage without taking any shots at all, is really good. Neural Parasite! Oh, sniping off those High Templar. And then killing each other at this point, I guess? I don't know. I guess that Archon just dead anyway. And this one too. Trying to kill some Infestors before he dies, but he's not going to get there. Sorry, man. You're out. Resources lost, 24,000 for Serral, 21,000 for stats. I think both players are pretty happy with their overall income situation. They both have a good number of bases. Tempest continuing to fire from distance here, and once you have enough of them and the upgrades are good, they can one volley down a Broodlord, which means you can't heal through it, which means that's a free Broodlord. So both players being pretty patient, honestly. Another base, well, a replacement base coming up down south for Serral. He just keeps expanding on his side of the map here, trying to make sure that he has more bases than stats does, which he definitely does, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 8 bases, guys. That 8th hatch just popped. Stats is on 6, which the numbers don't add up, friends. If you are a fan of Protoss, this is not looking good for stats. He's already down game 1. Right now. If he goes down 2-0 against Serral, I just don't know what he does. That is such an intimidating situation to be in, but so far, I mean, I don't know if anybody can do it at stats, right? I don't want you to stop watching just because stats may lose this game. Like, don't rage quit. Stick around. DTs. Look, DTs doing stuff, and then Overseers show up, and the DTs are like, oh. Wrong neighborhood, boys. Overseers with speed are so zippy. Yeah, look at this creep spread, though. Holy crap, this creep spread. It's all the way down here to this base. It's going to be actually hard to expand. Oh, that creep is just enough. That's just enough of an edge there. Infestor's casting a fungal down on an Archon. That's not something you see every day. That's a weird animation for sure. But this is turning into one heck of a game, too. Infested Terrans getting topped down. Those did get nerfed in the current patch as well. To where there was a bug where they used to ignore armor, which was really good against things like carriers, so that's been fixed. And there was a bug in how fast they fire, or there was just a nerf to their attack speeds. Their DPS is not as high either, so we'll see. Need to find a good ZVP late game and see how good Infested Terrans are in that one in the current patch, but for now, Infested Terrans are gods. They're really, really good. Again, stats not allowed to have this base by any stretch of the imagination. That's not even a cancel again. That is twice that base has gone down without getting canceled. I wonder if stats is just frustrated. This creep spread continues to encroach upon this base. I don't know where else stats can go. If he's going to expand again anywhere other than here, He's going to have to take this base, which Creep continues to push up on, or kill a Zerg base and mine from there, which is going to be really hard to do. Stats firing on those Tempests. Fungal does reveal cloaked units, as you can see there. That Tempest was no longer cloaked for a minute. I see you, Warp Prism. Warp Prism sneaking into the main base of Serral, trying to get some stuff done. He needs to get some serious damage done. Killing tech structures would be perfect. I don't know that there's any hope of killing drones up in this area because, well, obviously there are no drones in the main. But Spore Crawler, it doesn't even matter. Like, Warp Prism's gonna die. Zealots are dead. Like, the reaction time and the map awareness of Serral is just too good. Right there, it's just not going to happen for you. I don't know, stats, I've seen him play better. I don't know if he's just resigned. And it feels like he's not going to win this game because economically it's really going to be hard to do so. He recognizes the base situation here. Nice Fungal. He's trying to take down the Disruptors, and by golly, the Broodlord's got to surrender on a couple of those. Nova's on top of the Infested Terran, just throwing out wave after wave of them. Taking these cannons down, trying to take down shield batteries, doing anti-air shots against these Tempests in the mix too. And by golly, I think this base is going to die, but it's mined out, so I don't think it really matters. The priority here for stats is going to be that base that is just taken up to the north tier. So much energy on these Infestors, they're allowed to just throw Infested Terrans out time and time again. Again, the anti-air here against things like the Mothership, against things like Interceptors is just so good. And then the Broodlord count isn't huge, but it's enough to go ahead and chomp down this base eventually, assuming they're left alone. And the Nexus does die, but again, both these extractors, or these assimilators, are mined out, and all the minerals are gone too, so it doesn't matter. Trying to come up with a small army, but again, Serral just knows how to send exactly what he needs to stay alive here. Creep Tumors, that was not as good as it turns out. So this base, if stats can't hang on to this base, I think he's just done, ladies and gentlemen. I am trying to think of a way that he can win if he doesn't take this base, and I just don't see it. These players are too evenly matched for Serral to have this much of an economic advantage for this long and still lose. It's just, it comes down to economics when the players are at this level and are this close in total skill. There's nothing coming to respond. There is nothing coming to save this Nexus. The creep is down here again to where stats is trying to expand, and I have to appreciate his Hutzpah here. But that's another Nexus down. And if you're playing against Serral and you're going to lose 4 Nexuses, it's going to be a bad time. Serral can afford to lose this base, by the way. I don't know that he will. Just because the Infested Terrans are here to deal with his largely air army. But even if Serral did lose this base, I think he'd be fine. Meanwhile, Hydras and Banelings attacking on into this top right base, which again is still a source of an income. And losing that would be incredibly crippling to Stats' effort to stay in this game. But it's almost mined out anyway. It's not going to be a source of income for much longer. And Serral is just positioned right here to force this base down if he can do it. Flyer Carapace completed. Level 3 is done now. 27 minutes. Serral doesn't generally get that upgrade, obviously, because he waited this long to get it. But, I mean, why not at this stage? His bank is at 5,700, 4,800. Rather, 8,500, 4,700. That was Stats base, which is also very big. Okay, both of these players have huge banks, but the income is what's going to matter, right? This is getting mined out. There are 4 patches up the top right base, the only place that is still mining right now. Trying to throw up all the cannons in the universe to keep this thing alive. Serral trying to make this thing happen. Just so dang patient. Again, he doesn't want to engage off creep with these Infestors. He needs them to be able to run away. And they do get that very nice speed bonus when they're on creep. Off creep, slow. Slow as molasses. Ling's just rolling into the... This is the third? Yeah, that's the third base. And again, I don't know why killing this does anything. I guess taking down warp gates is nice. Taking down production facilities. Free kill on some zealots that are responding to this. The Banelings are serious business right now. I mean, that is 3-3 across the board for all the ground units for Serral. Everything's upgraded. All the things are upgraded for stats right now. I mean, 22 probes go down. Cup eye. Baneling trying to transfer down to that top right base. No. Stats is down to 32 workers, which is enough for this base. It can saturate this one base, but the number of mining bases that Serral has is 3. Infested Terrans happily picking Interceptors out of the sky here. Purification Novas trying to finish them off. Infested Terrans bravely striding forward. They might as well do that because they're going to die in a few seconds here anyway. Look at them just prioritizing these Interceptors and killing many, many, many of them 27 interceptors have gone down, and considering the fact that Stats hasn't made all that many carriers, that's a big number. His carrier group has not been huge. Corruptors decide not to engage here. Ling's getting chased away. Serral fighting on 2 separate fronts here, and this base does get fairly saturated. For Stats. Can he do it, guys? Can he even this thing up? That's a really nice Nova on those Infested Terrans. Again, the anti-air is just through the roof on these guys. Neural Parasite. Oh, did he catch the Mothership? He caught the Mothership. He threw down a Time Warp for some reason. I guess maybe to use the energy. But, oh, the cloak on the Infested Terrans is a weird thing. Neural Parasite wears off. Another group of Infested Terrans tossed down. They caught the Mothership again with the Neural. That Infestor's sitting back there, not taking any direct damage. What an insane situation this is. The Infested Terrans are throwing up anti-air against these carriers, against the Mothership. Corruptor's able to just jump in here now and try to do what they can, but there aren't enough of them. Charge lots coming in. It looks like a last haul here out of Stats. That group's not going to do anything. This group is being kited by Broodlords of 3/3 Broodlings. Zealots, they are good units, but fighting against endless waves of 3/3 Broodlings is not their forte. Nobody's forte is, in fairness. You don't want to talk down to the Zealots in this situation, but good golly. So the base doesn't die. Stats hangs on to this thing, guys. But look, Serral's taking this base. I mean, that is just a middle finger to Stats if I ever saw one. The Novas have killed so many Infested Terrans, but Serral doesn't care. That's energy. That comes back. That doesn't take anything from his bank. Yeah, I mean, this is what Protoss players complain about, is Broodlings are free. Infested Terrans are free. In fairness, Purification Novas are also free. So, I mean, I don't know, Protoss has their units too. Zealot's going to take down this hatch, but again, I'm not sure that Serral actually cares about it at all. Corruptor Ball getting a little high here. Stats control is just so dang good that he's staying in this thing when there's no reason for him to do so. These two the Mutalisks have been around. 9 kills on that one for the last 30 minutes of this game, 20 minutes of this game. Hatch killed. I think that's the first hatch. Second hatch to go down in this game. Second hatch to go down in this game. Serral just trying to do that fungal Broodlord combination here. He has to pull the Infestors back. Corruptor's not exactly fighting against the carriers directly. They're taking some Void Ray shots to the face. Look at the Void Rays in play here, boys. That's what we're talking about. Talking about here is Broodlords. Void Rays. The Void Rays are getting sniped down by the Corruptors, though, and there are numbers. And yeah, at this point, you can't save this base Stats. I don't know what you can do. Army supply 136 to 104. Serral has a lead. The Mothership is just providing endless amounts of support here, but the Broodlords are allowed to rain down absolute destruction on that Nexus, and it does end up falling. And the income for Stats is going to plummet to almost 0. Whereas Serral is still mining from 2 bases at this moment, 3 bases. Maybe even 4, depending on how you want to define that thing. Storm's getting tossed down on the Infested Terrans, on the Infestors themselves, boys. Novas coming in. A big wave of Zerglings to surround the Immortals and the Disruptors, finishing off this ground army. Army supply plummeting. That's it. Serral takes the game. Gets a 2-0 lead over Stats in this series. Oh, what incredible, incredible persistence was shown there by Serral in that game. Just continuing to push on there. Recognizing, sure, I'm going to lose some units. Sure, my Infestors are going to die. 33 Infestors died. 25 Broodlords died, which is way more than I thought had gone down. Only 4 at the last of the game there. But yeah, 22 Infestors. 22 Infestors, 14 Corruptors, 4 Broodlords, a bunch of Zerglings, and some Hydras are Serral's final composition there. At the end of the day, 7 carriers went down, 12 Tempests, 7 Immortals, 5 Nexuses is a huge number. 2 hatches to 5 Nexuses. If you want to tell who won a game based on looking at this unit's loss tab, you can generally tell by how many bases went down for each player, especially in a ZVP, where only 2 hatcheries killed, but 5 Nexuses killed is a huge bonus for the Zerg player. Income at the end was just not enough for Stats, and he waited to tap out. And he did, recognizing we are going to fight another day. So it's a rough position to be in for Stats, rough position for Protoss players of all shapes and sizes and persuasions. But it's not over till the fat lady sings. All right, so stick with it. We'll be back in just a minute here to see what Game 3 will bring us in this best of 5. Alright, Game 3 is on Turbo Cruise, the ladder edition. Turbo Cruise 84. I always forget that. Bottom left-hand corner, it is stats. Bottom right, what the heck? Top right, it is Serral. My brain likes to trick me sometimes. Boy, Game 2 sure didn't disprove that late game Zerg is hard or impossible to beat, did it? And I think Blizzard agreed, and they came down pretty hard on the infested Terrans, right? We'll see. We'll see how much difference it makes when the pro circuit starts up again. I think today is the WCS European qualifiers. Oh, hang on. Can you do it? Can you do it? Oh, what? What? I think that probe actually stopped up, just pulled up a little short, and Serral for the first time all series gets his natural base when he wants it. But yeah, I think today, if you might not be watching this when I post it because the European qualifiers for WCS are on Twitch, like maybe even right now. Who knows? I don't know. Guess what else is on Twitch? Yeah, Falcon's out there playing the Brood War campaign Carbot style. StarCraft 1, by the way. Not even Brood War, okay? StarCraft 1 campaign, Carbot campaign out on twitch.tv/FalconPaladin. And every Sunday, you can catch me doing a couple hours of that, which is a ton of fun. Really enjoy it. Come gamble and win some Falcon bucks, huh? Who doesn't like Falcon bucks, right? Not legal tender, but hey, fun anyway. Anyway, I don't know, man. What would it take for stats to vary things up here, guys? What do you think? The opening is just so safe and so standard that I don't even know why you'd do anything else. Look at this, though. Goriron Systems. That kind of looks like the Thundercats, right? Thundercats logo, or maybe Voltron a little bit too. That's cool. I'm liking it. What else is down here? Fed, Global Elite Control. What the heck? What? FED is not an acronym for Global Elite Control. What's wrong with you? This map maker is doing some weird stuff. Critical Mass Octane. It's a beautiful map, though. I don't know who did this one. I mean, I would say Avex. He's the only map maker I know by name, but an upcoming episode of the Pylon Show is actually going to be featuring map makers and talking to them about how they do what they do. I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of lings on the way, man. Surprising number of Zerglings are popping out, but a lot of drones here, too. And the third hatch is going to go down, no problem. So the lings inside the slow zone are going to finish off that probe. Bruh, so slow. And the third base comes down at where he wants it, 245. I think Serral is pretty pleased with that result. Lings coming in, going for the scout. And what are you going to see here, Zergling? Nothing. There's nothing to be surprised by. Although Stargate opening for the first time today. So that's new. Phoenix in production, probably getting an Oracle after that. This probe, well, owes its life to that Adept is what it does. But it delays the Adept is the problem. Adept has to come back home. There are Lings, there are Queens stabbing at it. And it got the scout off, though. I have to imagine it got in here at some point. Hard to tell. I don't know. Phoenix here and an Oracle. So the Oracle's name is going to be something. Realizing there are so few names left, but little time to make up new Oracle names, Joseph posts literally the first thing that comes to his mind and hopes the meta joke will make it funny. So this is something the Oracle. Overlord scouts in, doesn't gain any new information other than, by golly, there's a Stargate because, duh, this Phoenix is shooting me in the head. Gonna be something the Oracle cruising on out from none other than Joseph Atwell, our resident Oracle name maker. Anybody can do this, by the way, guys. If you want to make an Oracle name, just put it in the comments. Preface it with Oracle name so I can find it in my comments filter later. But, yeah, check it out. Lings! Cruising on down. Adept's holding the wall, no problem. You can also... Technically, everybody can do Reaper names, but by golly, I have so many Reaper names, it's going to be hard for me to get through them. So let's hold off on those for just a little bit, okay? All right. So Oracle cruising in, but again, Spore Crawler Queen combination means Oracle doesn't do much. Oh, actually canceling that Stasis War because the Queen was hitting so hard so fast. Zerglings trying to see what they can do. Is there a third base up? There's not a third base here. Another Oracle cruising over. That's a second Oracle, ladies and gentlemen. And another one. 2 from Stat. So 3 Oracle opening with what do we have on the ground supporting this? So no third base, which means that Serral at this point is going for a Roach War and recognizing he's going to need units sooner than probably he wants to have them. Yeah, canceling that gas, recognizing, okay, this is not a standard game right now. I need to actually make some units here. So double adept dead, which is problematic. Double oracle coming in and picking off a bunch of drones. Okay, so queen stabbing away. They do get one of the oracles. Nicely done. Is that something that got killed? Maybe it is. Maybe it's something, but we'll go ahead and keep something's name alive with these other oracles. Another one coming in. Roaches in production. An immortal here on the ground too. The follow-up from stats is absolutely insane. I'm loving the immortal in answer to these roaches. Also, I'm not sure what the roaches are for exactly. Unless it's just Serral saying, like, what? You're going to pump this much into your Stargate tech? Oh boy, double oracle getting this mineral line. There's only one spore crawler hanging out back here. 8 drones go down. It's 46 to 29 workers in favor of the Protoss player. That's a huge advantage right now. Serral has cut drones to go for these roaches and these queens. He's trying to push across the map and see what he can do to try to end this thing soon. Try to just 3-0 stats, which isn't possible, ladies and gentlemen. We might see it here. You never know. I might throw up one of my anti-spoiler screens here so you're not sure how much longer this game or this match is going to last, or this series is going to last. Yeah, all the drones are dead. This is it. This is all in from Serral. He needs to win now. There are 2 immortals. There are a bunch of speedlings, though. There are sentries here to force field as necessary. Losing some work gates is a problem, but it's 46 to 20 workers. The longer this goes on, the better it is for stats. Lings darting on in. Force field's coming up. Popping Guardian Shield here, too. Forcibile's trying to kill these force fields. This immortal being healed by all of the shield batteries known to man. Zealot's coming in to do some damage and absorb some shots there too. Immortal just sitting back with 8 kills to his name. He gets 9 kills. Can he get 10? Can he get 11? And Stats holds on. Stats holds on. Serral taps out. He wasn't able to kill the Zerg player. He was down to 20 workers. He had lost how many drones? 23 drones in the first 5 minutes. He knows he wasn't coming back from that. The longer that went on, the more units are going to get pumped out here from Stats. No more reinforcements. I guess some Lings were on the way here from Serral, but Lings were going to get through that either. And bam, sucker. The force fields were enough. The shield batteries were enough. The immortal was enough. And Stats stays alive in this series. Takes a 2-1 number. Oh, holy crap. What a hold. What a hold by Stats. Man, those multiple oracles really caught Serral by surprise. He was not prepared for that at all. I really want to see if there's anything else back here that deserves MVP status. I guess these immortals are doing some stuff too. That's a 9-kill immortal over there. So 9 and 11 kills on those immortals. That's why you make immortals Protoss players. If you're not making immortals in ZVP, you're doing it wrong. I don't care what they're doing, right? I don't care what the Zerg player is doing. Make some immortals, and you will not regret it, okay? I'm not saying make all immortals, because then like a mutalisk play will destroy you. But definitely make immortals to complement whatever the heck else you're doing. You're never going to be like, boy, I'm so sad I didn't have these immortals. Yeah? Yeah. Ah, all right, man. So 1 really long macro game and 2 very short games. And we are at a, again, 2-1 setup. Let's come back with our game number 4 here. Can we force a game number 5? I don't know. Stick with it. We'll see. We'll see together. It's game 4. As I always say, anything can happen in a game 4. All right, so it's King's Cove, home to many a macro battle. Bottom right-hand corner, it is the red Protoss player, Stats. And in the top left, it's Serral. Whew, I think Serral was just trying to end Stats, right? You're down 2-0, and Serral's like, maybe I just want to take a risk here. Maybe I can 3-0 him, and if I don't, I have 2 more games, right? Right. At least 2 more games. Well, hang on a second. No. A maximum of 2 more games. My goodness, brain. Come on. Where are we today? Either way, probe actually not here. Serral moves out and he's like, hold on, where's the probe? All right, cool. I'll throw it down. We're good. Totally good. Although, in the games where Serral has been allowed to take his natural base, it has not gone well for him. Just the one. But allowing him to take this puts him in a false sense of security that Stats has been able to take advantage of. Okay, I don't know that's actually what's happening, but Anyway, have you checked out the Falcon Paladin Hour, by the way? It is a weekly podcast with myself and Somicron. We talk about StarCraft. If you want to learn more about the curse of Somicron upon professional players in the game of StarCraft 2, you need to check out the podcast, okay? Just search Falcon Paladin on your podcast app, whether it's Windows or iTunes or Apple, which is the same thing, I guess, or Android, anything. You will find us, okay? Okay, give it a listen. We even have a really catchy opening song, which is professionally composed and performed. So if you want to hear that, check out the podcast, eh? Hey. All right. Where are we, friends? Nothing too crazy. Serral doing the same thing he always does. Stats doing the same thing he always does. When that Cybercore finishes, we could see a Stargate. We could definitely see a robotics facility. The options are truly not endless, but they are options nevertheless. Overlord coming in for its traditional perching area here, which it's fine. It's fine, I guess. Alright, trying to think of what else is interesting to talk about here. I guess there's also merch if you're interested in Falcon Paladin stuff like shirts and hats and jackets, and we also have a sterling silver bracelet if you're interested in that for some reason. Got a link to it in the description in the top right here too. Just Falcon Paladin and search Shopify, and you'll find our stuff. Third hatch coming up, traditional place for it. At the right time for it too, about 240, 245, somewhere in there. It's not set in stone exactly how late you make that third base, but you want to do it before 3 minutes. 3 minutes is way too late. If you're not taking your third before 3 minutes, you're doing it wrong. At least as long as your opponent isn't cannon rushing you, or at least as you know it's going to be a 1-gate expand, which you should know by this point. Another Stargate opening, and another Phoenix here. Stats is like, hey man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's go Stargate opening. Adept almost finishes that transfer. Stats has been practicing that. Okay, for years now. Obviously, Legacy of the Void came out in 2015? I think it was 2015. Yeah, because I started my channel in 2015 and then started casting Legacy of the Void that fall. So there's a small time on my channel where I'm casting Heart of the Swarm, but most of it has been Legacy of the Void. And I gotta say, I think Legacy of the Void is the best spot StarCraft has been in the history of StarCraft 2. It's just the balance is there. I feel like many units are viable, and I think that's a good sign of an RTS. If a lot of units are viable in different situations, that's good. Not saying they have to all be overpowered and all good in all situations, but like Void Rays. We don't see a lot of Void Rays in ZVP, but we saw them in Game 3, or Game 2, so hey. So Oracle's name is going to be Space... Nope. Oh, double Oracle. Never mind. It's going to be Blueberry Blitz and Molotov Cherry. I assume those are drinks of some kind. I don't know what they are otherwise. So yeah, double Oracle going to be in play here. Hopefully this Oracle doesn't die before a friend shows up. But yeah, Queen's here to get free shots off on the Phoenix and try to at least shave it and scare it away at this stage. Is that a third Oracle again? My gosh, Stats is like, you know what? I do the exact same thing I did in the last game and just hope that Serral can't respond properly to this. Kill 20 of his drones and then just win. Which, I mean, like I say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So here is Blueberry Blitz and Molotov Cherry joining up with their Phoenix friend. There's a lift. We've got a Queen here and a Spore, and that's, there we go, another Queen stabbing away, but then you just move up to the main base. A separate Spore coming up here. So Serral learned his lesson. He recognized it's going to be multiple Oracles. I'm going to need extra static defense here. And it's working off well for him, I think, thus far. Only 3 drones have died, which is not enough to pay for the investment that Stats has thrown up here. Link's trying to see if they can shut down a third base, but it doesn't look like Stats is interested in doing that at all at the moment. Look at that reflection on the water. That's so good. 3 coming in. Again, 2 Spores firing, though. Pretty scary stuff. And 4 drones go down. Phoenix almost gets killed there, too. The Queen doesn't actually die because, again, the Phoenix is lifting. The Phoenix can't lift and kill at the same time. Third base getting postured at here by Stats a little bit, and I think the Lings recognize that's the case. So 4 drones down, the Phoenix dies, and I think that's going to be it for the harassment. The Oracles really probably don't want to come in here with the Queen. And 2 Spores fighting. Maybe the natural base is a better place for it. There's only 1 Queen and 1 Spore here. Is there more harassment over this? Oh, so there was some Adept harass, but in the end, I'm not sure how much it did. Yeah, losing an Oracle there. The two that are left are definitely Blueberry Blitz and Molotov Cut Cherry, though. Keep wanting to say Molotov Cocktail because, well, it's Molotov and it starts with a C in the second word, but that's not what it is. All right, so third base coming in here from Stats. We got a big Sentry Adept Stalker army on the follow-up. This is the power of Protoss, guys. You can invest a lot into the kind of this weird air army and then force the Zerg player to respond with things like Spores and Queens, and then just follow up with a big army that Spores and Queens are really bad against. Roaches and Ravagers in production now. Serral might have droned a little bit too hard, guys. Oh, the force field. Once the army's in this position and there are force fields, it's so hard to take it down here. Yeah, the Queens aren't going to be very good here. Roaches and Ravagers are coming out. We're going to see some Warp Prism juggling, ladies and gentlemen, on this Immortal that already has 3 kills to its name. We'll keep an eye on that, dude. 11 drones have gone down. Drones are stuck on the wrong side of the force fields. 20 drones killed. 20 drones killed. This is exactly what happened in the last game. Queens are fighting. That's pretty much all that's left here. A handful of Roaches are in play, and Stats forces a game 5 in 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Holy cannoli. That was, I mean, okay, not a carbon copy of the last game, right? No, but it was the opening harassment by Stats that made the follow-up so good. Ridiculous stuff there from him. Able to get a third base behind it here too. Serral wanted to go for the Roach Ravager, but again, I don't think he got enough advance warning this army was coming up. He was so busy dealing with the Oracles and the Phoenix back there that he ended up dropping this game. He just wasn't prepared for what was coming across the map. Stats caught him entirely by surprise. It was a weird timing that Stats threw up here, but it made it happen. Had the Warp Prism in the mix, had a couple or an Immortal in there too. The force fields were fantastic. And yeah, just Serral's army did not pop in time. He had the right answer for it, but it didn't pop in time, and that's how players lose a lot of games of StarCraft, is especially if they're Zerg, if they make the army they need for the situation they're in, but 10 seconds too late, and then they lose. Brutal. It's a brutal way to go down for sure, but at the end of the day, the point is going to Stats. So Stats ends up winning this thing, forcing a game 5 and a couple quick games here. Just bam, bam. Thank you. 1-2. Let's move on to game 5 where anything can happen. Boy, Serral, he was feeling so comfortable after those first 2 games in a best of 3. Stats, though, feeling it. Feeling his oats. He has all the momentum. Let's see what he does in game 5. We'll be right back. It's new repugnancy. It's game 5. The music is imminent and feeling stressful, but not as stressful as these players. Top right, it is Serral. Bottom left, it is Stats. Man, game 5s, game 7s, game 3s, and a best of 3. These are the most stressful games a professional sports player experiences. Whether it's esports, whether it's ball sports, I love both of them. And man, Serral, when you get your natural hatch and you want it and you get it, you lose. Correlation is causation. Oh no, Serral's gonna lose this, you guys, because he got his natural hatch. This is brought to you by Correlation is Causation. All right, so sometimes it is, but not always, not necessarily, right. That is a science fact. Oh, holy smokes. Serral, what happened? You're up 2-0. And then after 2 short, quick games, Stats is tied with you. And if you're Stats, hey, 3 Oracle, 1 Phoenix, and then a follow-up. No big deal, right? Oh, I can't even believe this. All right, so Stats, bam, 1 gate expand. Why would he do anything else in his entire life? I mean, that's the thing. Like, people say that Serral always goes for the late game. Boy, Stats, the day that Stats cannon rushes you will be never. I just don't think he's ever going to do it. Especially not against somebody who's good as Stats, or Serral is. Like, Serral's going to recognize it and see it coming and shut it down hard. That's why you don't see people cannon rushing Serral all that much, just because his reactions are fantastic. But you'd think that Stats maybe will try it against somebody once, but I just don't. I don't recall seeing it ever from this dude. And it's just, it goes to show that's why he's so good. It's because it doesn't do crazy stuff. He doesn't drop games because he goes for something cheesy. He does solid plays. Like, even the 3 Oracle opening, it's not like mass Oracle. It's not like if Serral responds to this quickly and easily and well, he just wins. This was 3 Oracles and a Phoenix, killing a bunch of stuff, forcing a bunch of stuff out of Serral he didn't want, and then a nice follow-up of Grand Army behind it. Yeah, man. Stats is like, we got this. Stats is like, we're doing the same thing, boys. Let's get up here. Let's get this thing moving. Opening with that Stargate. Gonna start the Phoenix production. Gonna start the Oracle production. Serral's inject is late. Serral. Oh no. Serral's off his game. That inject was late. What is happening? His third base is coming out at the right time, though. We're at 250. Things are happy there. Adept coming up. The first Adept never really does anything by way of damage. Maybe gets a Zergling. Maybe. But definitely scouts for the presence of a lair pretty darn quickly, as well as presence of a Roachborn or a Baneling Nest. And I think so far every scout the Adept has seen has been the same thing. So not really helping all that much, but you know, if there was something there to see, the Adept would see it. So there's your Phoenix. It's on the way. It's being Chrono Boost. There's your Chrono Boost sound. Chrono Boost good unit. By the way, like, Protoss good unit because it has those and no Stalker. Okay, so the no Stalker means something's going to come kill this Overlord, and it's going to be a Phoenix is generally how this works. There's another Oracle. Oracle's name for this one is going to be Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Hello, loyal viewers. Due to further budget cuts, the studio moved our production studio into a Protoss Oracle in an active war zone. Don't worry, we still have a celebrity to interview tonight. No, wait. He must be another superhero. Yes, tonight's guest is the Falcon Paladin. Aw, thanks, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Alright, Spore's on the way. How many Oracles are we going to get? That's a second one. That's a second Oracle. Is he just going to do the same thing? Did he find a build that Serral doesn't know how to handle? What is happening right now? Serral is not unbeatable. Serral is fallible. The Lings are like, okay, that's an Oracle. Don't got any more here. Should we Baneling bust? Like, the thing is, Oracles are really good at base defense too. So if you try to like do a Ling attack, the Oracles just go zip, 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 and they clean you up. But maybe keeping the Oracles at home is good for your drones, right? Maybe if you're Serral, you're just like, I'd rather have Lings dying on this side of the map than drones dying on this side of the map, which seems like a pretty reasonable strategy and policy there. But yeah, look at this. The Oracles are playing defense because they're so worried about how many Lings are out. And this counts for killing drones, though, because this is larva, and these are resources that went to Lings instead of drones. So I'm wondering if Stats is actually okay with this. Regardless, only one Queen and Spore at the third base, and Phoenix is going to show up, and double Oracle's going to show up, and you're going to be in big, big trouble. More Queens are hoofing it down this way. But then they leave the natural base unprotected. They leave the main base unprotected. Queens are only so fast, guys. They are fast, but Oracles are faster. Flying units are zippy in this game. Generally, Broodlord's an exception. Obviously, battle cruisers aren't that fast either. And one of the... Oh my gosh, that Oracle. 4 HP on that. Adept, come in. Serral's ready for this. Okay, so Serral on the fly is adapting to this somewhat well. That is still 7 drones killed, you guys. 7... Really? Man, the Queen gets picked up, and the Spore Crawler needs to be attacking. There we go. It's attacking that Oracle. Takes it out. And one more shot on that Phoenix would have killed it too. So 11 drones killed is bad, but it's not 20, okay? 20, I almost feel like is an insurmountable number. Here's the follow-up. Here's the... Yes, this is Stats doing the exact same thing he did in the previous game. He's got a Warp Prism, he's got Unimmortal and some Sentries, he's going to warp in some Gateway units. Roach is in production now, though. See, this is the difference. Serral didn't make these until a while ago. So he's going to have an army to handle this at this point in the game. Overseer comes, sees the number of Warp Gates, says, okay, definitely knowing what to expect here. But yeah, Roaches do take some time to finish. Ravagers take even longer to turn into Ravagers. Once the Roaches are here, those Lings end up killing, I think, nothing? Pretty sure they killed nothing, but the Roaches and Ravagers are present, and Ravagers are the answer to this Immortal Sentry thing. Stats are just like, whatever, I'm going home. I don't have to worry about this. Actually, let's warp in 6 Stalkers and see how you feel about that. Focusing down a Sentry would be so good. Okay, Sentry down, couple of Adepts going down here too. Nice Corrosive Vials. Taking down those Force Fields. Corrosive Vials getting launched. The Force Fields just keep coming back, though. They're like cockroaches, and this Immortal, again, just being like, hey guys, I got 10 kills. You want to get 11? Should I get 11? Let me push in here real quick and get 11. Doesn't happen. He's trying, though. Immortals are the heroes of the Protoss forces, for sure. Why they're called Immortals, man. They were named aptly many years ago in StarCraft Wings of Liberty when they were introduced. Back in 2010. Can you believe it? 2010. Stasis Ward coming up. Serral's not ready for that. Oh, he is. Just kidding. He's fine. Everybody goes back to work. No big deal. Stasis catches a drone and a roach. Whatevs. Harassment continuing up north. Stasis does catch another drone. But Serral's okay. Alright, man. So Serral, he's fine. Stats has managed to take a third base, but there's nothing defending it. And by golly, a bunch of probes are going to be picked off. So a bit of a tit for tat here. Oh, only 3? I thought there'd be more than that. So 3 probes killed. Could have been worse, but the shield battery saves the day there a little bit. Fourth base, I assume, is going to be here for Serral based on the creep spread patterns. Swarm host in production from Serral. All right. So who's going to swarm host this thing? This is a pretty good map for swarm host. You set up a Nidus over here. Swarm hosted in the main. Nidus over here. Swarm hosted in the third. Fourth base coming in for Serral down south because I don't know what I'm talking about. Apparently another stasis attempt here. And one drone trips it again. I mean, Serral's just awareness is fantastic. That queen gets stasis, which is a really kind of cool animation. I think the queen's bugging out, though. That's not ideal. Ling's catching... Ah, the probes on the gas actually go out of range of the shield battery there a little bit. Trying to drain all the energy off the shield battery so it's not as useful in future engagements is a pretty good idea. But 6 drones get killed. Where are that? This? No. This thing, Adepts in Warp Prism? Sure, that must be what it is. Yeah, it totally is. Alright, cool. So yeah, a couple more drones go down. Warp Prism actually recalls home. I guess maybe is needed there because here comes the Zerg army, which is at 98 to 71 supply. Swarm hosts count for a lot of supply, but for 41 seconds at a time, they're really bad. As it turns out. Oh man, the Locusts want to land on this. They're going to take a couple Zealots out, which is really nice. Free Zealots are free Zealots. Roach is getting into the natural base a little bit. The Immortals are trying to shut that thing down. The Immortal count is 5, by the way. And this is a very Roach Ravager heavy composition. The Swarm hosts are amazing against it, but the Roach Ravager is actually kind of bad, as we can see here. Just that bonus damage versus armor the Immortals do. The Roaches don't have a ton of HP anyway. Yeah, Immortals without breaking a sweat. 16 kill Immortal in play today. Already at 9 minutes in. Don't mind him. We're still doing stuff back here. Stasis does catch. That's huge. That's a big stasis. Catching a ton of drones at the natural base. That's a lot of lost mining time for these workers. The larva trying to get in here. They're not quite sure what to do with themselves. Storm is not done. Oh, the juggling of the Warp Prism. Oh, the Immortal juggling is so stupid good. And then Charge Lot's getting on top of this army because stats know this is when you need to strike. Strike while the iron is hot. Storm is done now. And the Swarm Host effectiveness is actually going to fall through the floor in just a minute. The Roach Ravager catching storms directly to the face here. Locust getting into the main base pretty much unopposed, which is nice. What are they going to try to do? I'm guessing the probes. I don't think they have enough lifetime to take down the Nexus. So bunch of probes down. 6 probes down is a nice engagement there for sure. Locust flying, forcing stats back. It's a good zoning technique here. Storm does the same thing, forcing the Zerg army back. Locust, are they going to be allowed to land? They do, and they get an Archon. Okay. Any damage for Serral is good damage. I believe that's how he would say it, or he would see it. A couple charge lots trying to catch these roaches by surprise, just die. I don't think they got a single roach, which is bad for them. More charge lots, though. All right, all right. At first you don't succeed, send more charge lots at this roach ball. Storm coming around the edge. Locust trying to fly. Roaches just, if you keep moving, you're pretty good against these charge lots. More charge lots warping in, though. And Sat's taking a 4th base up left here, too. Roaches are going to die, but the question is how many units can they kill in the meantime. Locust trying to fight, not getting a whole lot done as they're pretty much already expired already. And have taken some damage as, yes, Stats attempted a 4th base is getting shut down by some roaches here to some extent. I'm not sure why these guys are not helping with it, but Stats, is he moving out? Is he just... is he giving up on this? No, he's sending some Zealots to help, and that's actually enough. The Immortals are overkill. Locust coming on in, and what are they going to kill is the question of the day. They're going after this Nexus, which, not enough, but does harm it pretty substantially. Oracle finally gets killed after throwing down more stasis here inside the main base of Serral. But I think that might be it for Swarm Host. Serral's production is now Lings, it's Roaches, it's a Baneling Nest. Fleet Beacon on the way from our Protoss player. And yeah, 4th base gets up. Stats is populating it. He's saturating it right now. It's 59 to 67 workers. Stats has a worker lead right now, which as a Zerg player is bad. You never want that. And again, to deal with swarm hosts and deal with these locusts, just keep moving. Just move away from them. That's all you got to do. Gallus Immortal is just like, hey, roaches, come this way. Charge lots, not a good position for them. Inside chokes is really bad for them. Same with Zerglings. Anything melee, you never want to get inside a choke. Just warping in so many charge lots to handle this, and then a recall back home. And Protoss is fine. Protoss handles that. Didn't really have the units to deal with it, but was able to recall, warp in some charge lots immediately, and everything was cool. Those mechanisms are great. Sure, Zerg units can be produced pretty quickly, but not as fast as you can warp in 7 charge lots in defense of your base. It's 2 seconds. It's 2. Yeah. Free Immortals, though, is nice. Yeah. Oh, hang on. That one's still alive somehow. He wants to get the Nexus, or at least injure it to the point that it's easy to snipe next time, which I think he accomplished his goal there. Immortal's still alive. This guy's got 9 kills, 20 kills, and 2 kills, and 15 kills. Yes, Immortals are good. Again, it helps if the Zerg player is throwing free units at you, and they don't have very much HP. Immortals are going to be good against those. But, man, this is a good game. Serral has really kept stats on his back foot this game, which, if you really want to do, if you're a Zerg player, it sucks defending against big Protoss attacks consistently. You want to be the one on the offensive, and dang, does take down the Nexus with a bunch of roaches after the Locust weakened it earlier. So taking the base down, roaches getting killed, though, and I don't know, man, Serral is not going into the late game Zerg composition that he wants to. Well, that everybody says is OP. Another Nexus down! What? Stats! He lost 2 bases. He lost a bunch of probes. He lost a bunch of zealots. Resources lost here are still favoring the Protoss for some reason, even though 2 of his bases have gone down. He's lost so many charge lots here. It's a mothership, though, and it's carriers, which, you know, it's really bad against carriers, all of this stuff. Ravagers and Swarm Hosts are bad against carriers. Stats needs this to work. He needs the carriers to buy him some time to get his bases back up, because his income is half of what Serral's is right now. If this army dies and Serral just moves across the map, I don't know what Stats does to hang on here, other than, again, rely on the carriers to save him, which you might say is pretty much a guaranteed good thing. It is, but I don't know if it's enough necessarily. Banelings, no, say the Storms. The Storms say no Baneling splashes for you at all. Carriers don't quite want to reveal themselves at this point, I don't think. Staying off creep at some level. There is a Spire on the way. I think Serral caught wind of it. I think he caught wind that he's going to need those at some point. Needs some kind of Spire units. Locusts. I could have got a couple probes there, but the control maybe not as good as it otherwise could have been. Spires take forever to build, by the way. Burrow move is actually coming in right now from Serral. Burrow and Burrow charge. And here come the carriers, and by golly, you do not have the anti-air you need to handle this. Surprise carriers are surprising. And oh my gosh, the Storms. Okay, well, that Roach Ravager army is dead. 31 kill Immortal, by the way. Running for his life, by the way. Locust catching a couple Archons down here. The carriers do take down that base in the bottom right-hand side. Base for a base at this stage. And Immortal holding on. These Locusts are not doing anything right now. I think Serral's really worried about these carriers just kind of marching on in right now. But there are Queens. Queen anti-air is good, although Queens are not the answer. They're not what you want versus carriers. You can do anything else. Production tab for stats is actually empty right now, which kind of blows my mind. Since when is this production tab empty? I guess maybe when he's microing these carriers to within an inch of their lives. 5 kills, 3 kills, and 2 kills. One of those being a Nexus, though, which is nice. So Serral's at 55 workers to 67 for Stats. Stats has these Nexuses back, ladies and gentlemen. He is clawing his way back into this game. This is turning into an epic Game 5. I think this whole series is going to get an epic tag. Just by virtue of the fact it is Stats and it is Serral in a 5-game series. That went 5 games. Yeah, Cloak, pretty good against the Locust, as it turns out. If they can't see ya, they can't hit ya. This is so weird out of Serral. It's almost like he's experimenting. I mean, I don't want to make excuses for him because he's not looking super good in this game, but like, where are the Broodlords, man? Where are the Infestors? He hasn't made any Infestors today at all. The Corruptors are going to take down the Carriers pretty easily. Although catching some Storms is bad, so never mind. Using Locusts in defensive situations are bad, but that Immortal gets caught out. 37 kills to his name and killed by Roaches and Ravagers. And this Mothership is retreating on home from the Roaches and Ravagers and doing actually okay with it. So, more Corruptors in production here from Serral. Pretty smart job against these Carriers at the very least. Locusts expiring for nothing. Stats actually taking another base while Serral is trying to replant his base down on the right side. So he's at 5 bases here right now. Just about 5, I guess. He's got one on the way. Stats is his 5th is on the way here too, so technically Stats is in the lead. If you want to look at it that way. Carriers coming in. 6 Corruptors on the way. Oh, these Swarm Hosts, I don't want to say they're dead weight, but they are much better as an offensive unit than they are as a defensive unit. They're so bad, actually, as defensive units. Because you just survive the Locust Wave, and then you have 40 seconds to basically A-move all you want into your opponent's base, because the Swarm Hosts are dead. They're dead weight. Charge Lots doing all that they can. Drones transferring down to this base. That's a huge problem for Serral. The Corruptors are trying to take down this Mothership, but they're taking Storms. So much Storm against these Corruptors. They're pretty good at eating it generally, but wow! Stats is your game. Serral taps out with a single G. And Stats is your victor in this best of 5 Sunday series today. Oh. Wow. And I mean, we're just going to say it again here. I don't know why Serral didn't go for the traditional late game Zerg composition. He didn't make Aspire until he knew there were Carriers out. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. Went for the Swarm Host, which you've seen kind of be hit and miss against Protoss, and Stats certainly seem to know how to handle it. Storm, keep moving. Use shield batteries if you must, and you're going to be okay. But in a game where 2 Nexuses got killed and only 2 hatcheries went down, Stats comes out on top and wins this thing. 3 games in a row against Serral at this level. At this level of StarCraft is bonkers. This guy, Stats, is such a good player. He's been so good for so long. If you just look up Stats on Wikipedia, his accomplishments page, it just keeps going. It's like endless scrolling. Endless scrolling. At the end of the day, Serral ended up losing about 7,000 more resources than Stats did, which is just problematic. For him, the Roaches were bad. The Immortals were good. The Corruptors were a good answer to the Carriers, but the Storms, I think Stats maybe had more Storms than Serral was prepared for, because, man, he ate a bunch of Storms with those Corruptors at the end of the game, and it was not great. Again, the Swarm Hosts, once they're defending, are just not as good as they are on the offensive. And sure, they took down a couple bases, but other than that, they didn't really get any major victories as far as surrounding and killing a lot of Protoss units, and they have to. They have to, because otherwise they're just dead weight. So great series, man. That gets an epic tag for sure. 2 of my favorite players in the world just battling it down to the end there. What more can anybody want, honestly? What more could anybody want out of StarCraft? The answer is nothing. If you want more out of StarCraft 2, you're too greedy. Too greedy? Too greedy! It's late. It's like midnight. I've had a long day. Let's get this thing over with. All right. I mean, not over with. It's done, though. It's done. It's done and over. Stats making it happen in a very strange final game. But that's what it's all about, man. The Serral figured out how to deal with that 3 Oracle, 1 Phoenix opening without dying. And Stats kind of improvised from there. The Swarm Host he dealt with, wanted some Carriers. Like, it's a weird composition at the end of the game here, right? High Templar, Sentries, Stalker, Carrier, Archon, Immortal, Charge Lot. It's weird. But it worked. Definitely worked. Got the victory. Okay. Enough rambling for me. So that's going to be it from me. Woo! This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and your Sunday series. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. All at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. And you take care of yourself.